Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and man has 2023 just flown by. We're almost at December, and that just means that it is time once again to look at some exciting games coming out next month. We have 12 of them lined up, so without further ado, let's just get right into it. And we're starting off with Dragon Quest Monsters The Dark Prince coming out the 1st of December. Now the Dragon Quest Monsters series has had many releases down the road, with the first one being released in 1998. And if you don't know what this is a monster catching game, kinda like Pokemon. So you play as Psaro, who is unfortunately cursed, so he can't fight against monsters, so what he does instead is that he catches monsters to fight for him. You'll be traversing through Naderia, and here you'll be able to catch these monsters. Up to 4 monsters can be in your party, but there's loads and loads more in this game to uncover. You can also combine 2 monsters to get 1 stronger monster, and this reminded me a bit of how it worked in Persona 5, where you can combine 2 personas and you get 1 better one. And I just thought this was a pretty fun coincidence, because one of the previous games in this series is called Dragon Quest Monsters Joker. So yeah, look out for Dragon Quest Monsters The Dark Prince coming out for the Nintendo Switch December 1st. Also coming out December 1st is SteamWorld Build. So you may already be familiar with the SteamWorld games. We have SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2 and other games in the franchise, but this one is quite different from past iterations. This is a city management simulation type of a game, but also some tower defense. Either way, you have 4 different maps that are completely instant, so you just swap between these different layers, and it's really impressive that it can actually pull that off on the Switch, I feel. Here you will build a town and also build stuff down in these mines, because down there you're trying to find ship parts so you can get off this dying planet. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of city management games, but I know loads who are, and I've heard that this is a really solid experience. And Alex has already reviewed this game on this channel, so if you're more interested in this game, you should go check that out. And we are staying on the 1st of December because we're seeing a game that we already talked about in the October games list, and that is Batman Arkham Trilogy. Yeah, this game was unfortunately delayed, but it is finally coming out still here in 2023. This is a collection of Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, and all the DLC is included, either in one big package or sold separately, because you don't need to buy all these games at once. You can also just get one of them if you've already played the other 2. I think what's most exciting here is Arkham Knight, since that never released on the Wii U, it just wasn't powerful enough, but now it is coming to Switch. Will it run good? Have they made some compromises? Well, I'm really excited to find out. I mean, if you don't know what these games are, well, you're Batman, you embark on a crazy adventure that requires fighting, detective work, and a whole lot of Batmobiling. So yeah, look forward to these 3 Batman Arkham games when they release on Nintendo Switch December 1st. We finally made it out of the December 1st games. Now we're jumping into a game releasing the 5th of December. It's a Highland Song, which was showcased in the most recent Indie World. I was immediately really captivated by the look of this game. Now you take a great adventure where you must traverse the Scottish Highlands, and here you run by the sea, go into deep dark caves, scale mountains, all accompanied by this beautiful singer-songwriter soundtrack. Now you will not only be running around, you will also have to time your inputs, because it seems like there's some rhythm-based sections here involved, not all the times, just some of the times. And I personally just really like the vibe it gives me. So many games makes me feel roughly the same way, but this is just something completely else. You'll play as Moira, who has to get to this lighthouse. Why does she have to get there? It seems like there's some sort of relative that's telling her, please come here, and she's overcoming her fear to actually go, because it seems like quite the treacherous path, but only you will be able to guide her to that lighthouse safely. So if that seems interesting, why don't you give it a shot when this game releases on Nintendo Switch the 5th of December. Do you like bread? Well, in this game, you play as a character who's born from it. The art style reminds me quite a bit of Paper Mario, and it also has some really cool timing inputs when you do combat, but they seem a bit more fleshed out than just timing your button press when you hit the hammer or jump on the enemy. You travel with a different companion in loads of different biomes. There's so many different enemy variations, so many different characters, and it just looks like a really fun, wacky platforming adventure with a whole lot of battling included. So get ready to play this fully baked game coming out the 5th of December. And the next game on the list is a game that was announced for Switch almost 3 years ago, but is now finally coming out. It's Outer Wilds, but it's not only that, you also have the Outer Wilds Archaeologist Edition, so you can get both of these two versions, one including DLC and one just being the base game. So what's the premise of this game? Well, you get stuck in this time loop and have to save the solar system. You have 22 minutes each time, and after that, it will reset. Why are you in a time loop? Why is the solar system ending? To figure this out, you have to explore in your spaceship and uncover secrets in this weird, wonderful adventure. I see so many people online say that this is one of the best games they've ever played, so that's a really good start. Now, I've tried this a bit. I didn't really get into it, but I've always wanted to try it again because clearly something didn't really click, and I think having it on the Switch, just on the go, whenever I have a little bit of time I can just pick it up and play. I think that'll really help with my experience of this game. So yeah, I'm really excited to give this game a shot when it releases on the Nintendo Switch December 7th. And on the 11th of December, we have Trip World DX, and you might also recognize this game just like Batman from the October games list, and this was also delayed unfortunately, but it is now finally coming out. This is a classic Game Boy game that never came to America, and it's super expensive if you try to get a copy either in Japan or Europe, but now that's no longer going to be a problem. And on top of that, they're also adding color to the game. This is the kind of game that a lot of people won't really know what it is, but it has a cult following. A lot of people really enjoy this. It seems like the people who are bringing this game over, like it's a passion project almost, and I just really love to see it. So this is a platforming game, and in my opinion, it looks a little bit like the early Kirby games. I personally am intrigued. Are you? Well, if you are, you can pick this game up when it comes out the 11th of December. So I know this isn't a game, but it is a big DLC that I felt was worth covering because it was coming out this month. It's the second part of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, the Indigo Disc. Now this is coming out the 14th of December, and here you will be traveling to the Blueberry Academy that has this giant dome, the terrarium, which is like split up into 4 different ecosystems, and here you'll find loads of new Pokemon. There's also new outfits, new legendary Pokemon, you know, what you would expect in a Pokemon DLC. So if you're longing for more Pokemon in your index and just want to experience more of this world of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, now's your chance when the final part of the DLC releases the 14th of December. And the next game doesn't have an exact release date, it only states Winter 2023. So that means that it is coming out here in December, we just don't know exactly when. This is Animal Well, and it has this super original, fascinating art style. It's the first game published by Big Mode, Video Game Donkey's indie publishing company, and it just looks like a really fun experience. It is kind of like a Metroidvania where you go around finding monsters and getting new items, but these items are not exactly what you would expect them to. In many other Metroidvanias, you would gain a double jump, but in this one, you gain the ability to make bubbles so you can jump on those bubbles and reach higher distances. Now this game is made by one person, and man has he just done a great job with the presentation of this game. It feels so, well, it's almost comforting even though it looks kind of spooky. It's really hard to describe, but I really want to get my hands on this game. It just looks like the kind of game that I would really enjoy. A Metroidvania with an amazing art style and quirky ways to use your items, well, what's there not to love? And the last game on this list is again not really a game, it's DLC, but it looks so substantial that it's like, well, this could be its own game. It's Eastward Octopia. Now, we don't have an exact release date just like Animal Well. It's coming out winter 2023, so we know it's coming out in December. We just don't know the exact dates. But man, am I excited to play this. It's Eastward, but a farming game, so a completely different experience to what we first experienced here 2-3 years ago. And I'm just so excited to try this out. Now, I myself loved Eastward. It was a really fun adventure. Now, it did have some pacing issues, but it was a really enjoyable experience. My main highlights being the pixel art and the soundtrack. And these two things will just be expanded upon, but with new gameplay, which was one of the things that, you know, I did enjoy it off the base game, but I wouldn't mind it being a farming game either. I never saw this coming in a million years, and especially not as DLC, because when you see this footage, it's like, this is just a complete game on its own. I don't know why they didn't release this as a brand new game. Maybe it's not long enough to be a full-blown release. But either way, I'm just super excited to spend some more time with John and Sam and just plant some crops, build some bars to get some animals, and interact with all the lovely NPCs that we know and love from Eastward. And there you have it. Those were the 12 exciting games, or 10 exciting games and 2 exciting DLCs coming out in the month of December. Are you picking any of these games up, or was there an entry that flew us by? Well, let us know down in the comments below. If you like this video, why don't you give that subscribe button a little click, and don't forget to check out our website nintendolove.com for all sorts of Nintendo related content. That was it from me. Stay safe, play some games here in December, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.